It's The Log. I'm Charles Purcell. Hey, this is our 203rd episode. We blew past number 200. Our 200th episode, we should have paused, taken a moment, and acknowledged that great feat. But we didn't. We just went right through. We just blew right past it. So, good for us. I'm also past due in mentioning this. It's the Log Halloween special we did last year at this time. Only a couple days now to Halloween. And it's the Log Halloween special. Available to you. If you go to charlespurcell.com, all you have to do is scroll down to episode 39. It's just a matter of scrolling. I'll make it real easy for you. You know what? I'll put it on the front page. As soon as I'm done talking to you here, I'll put it on the front page, maybe share it on the Facebook page again. And if you listen to the log on our flagship terrestrial station, River West Radio, riverwestradio.com, I know they're playing it midnight, stroke of midnight, Friday night. So Friday night going into Halloween Saturday. So Friday night, midnight. They'll be airing it over the air and live streaming. So that's always fun. I always kind of like, as convenient as podcasting is, I love live radio and live streaming because there's a sense of community. You know that other people are listening to the same thing at the same time. And there's something to that. So anyway, yeah, the Log Halloween special. However you tune in, give it a listen. It's a lot of fun. We got some improvised poems and songs and stories and radio theater. The entire cast from the old days. We haven't spoken to these guys in a while. But Chucky Bucky is there, and Uncle Chuck, and everybody from Scenes from a Perfect World. Yeah, that's another thing you want to listen to if you're not familiar with the old days. We did a short series called Scenes from a Perfect World. Also easily found on the website. And so we sort of combined cast. Like when the Beverly Hillbillies and Petticoat Junction would sort of join each other's casts. You weren't sure which show you were watching. All of a sudden there's Uncle Jed talking to Uncle Joe. He's moving kind of slow. At the junction, Petticoat Junction. So we did that. We had the whole cast of Scenes from a Perfect World join the cast of The Log for the big Halloween special. So, yeah, you should listen to all of this. Go to charlespurcell.com. If you've never visited the website, you'd be amazed at how much stuff is there. Oh, the fun we have. Stream of Consciousness Talk Radio Theater, that whole series is there. Oh, the fun we have. Hey, while we're talking about Halloween here, you may have heard this or noticed already. It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. Not available on television this year. Well, it's kind of a yes and no. It's been on, I think, ABC forever, since 1966, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's what I read. Charles Schulz classic, It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown, along with the other specials, a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving and a Charlie Brown Christmas. Da-da-dee-dee-dee. Oh, Vince Guaraldi giving us one of the great Christmas songs of all time. Christmas time is here. Happiness and cheer. Da-da-da-da-dee-dee-dee. Yeah, it's got lyrics. Favorite time of year. Something like that. Yeah, great specials that we look forward to every year. We watched them as kids. Nope, not on ABC this year. They've bumped them over. Sign of the times. Apple TV Plus has bought the rights, so stream only. Now, they are throwing us a little bone, at least this year. I'm sure it's the only year they'll do it. It is free to watch on Apple TV Plus, and I hate to plug them. Each of those specials is free for a few days prior to the holiday. So October 30th through November 1st, you can watch the Halloween special. So starting tomorrow, October 30th, you can watch that for a couple of days. And then they'll do the same thing for the Christmas and the Thanksgiving specials. So this sucks. This is the world we live in now. I am 100% morally opposed to paid streaming. And it's not because I'm a Luddite, and it's not because I'm old-fashioned and nostalgic and things have to be just the way they were when I was a kid. No. It's because it's not fair. A lot of parents can't afford a bunch of streaming services, or even one streaming service. So their kids just go without. News, information, documentaries, the good stuff shouldn't be behind a paywall. Media, like everything else, should be free. A public good, a public space. In an especially poignant and cruel example of this, the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving special, Christmas special, and Halloween special behind a paywall now. Yeah, no, this is not the way the world should work. Nope. There have been a couple of things out there that I keep hearing about, and people keep recommending to me. Oh, you got to see this, you got to see this. And The Social Dilemma was one of them. And then the Borat movie, and, there's always something. Everybody's telling you, oh, you got to see it. I say, well, I don't do streaming services. Oh, I'll give you my passcode. So I've been given passcodes to Netflix and Amazon Prime because people who love me, God bless them, they say, oh, you got to see this. So I haven't gotten around to watching yet, and I probably won't, to tell you the truth. I honestly don't understand. Here's the other thing about streaming services I don't understand. When do you have time to watch all this television? I mean, don't these people read books? Don't they watch the news occasionally? Do you ever listen to the radio? Maybe a podcast or two? Don't you have any hobbies? Don't you spend time talking with your family and friends? I mean, I honestly don't understand. I guess I don't understand streaming. When do you do it? I don't quite understand how anybody has time to do it. If you do read a book occasionally, if you do watch the news, like I do, I watch NewsHour every day. I always tell you about that. I like Frontline documentaries on PBS. That's the other thing. If you're into news and documentaries, you don't need streaming services. All you need is PBS, the World Channel. They got amazing programming on those channels. Now we're talking about, let's see, okay, just the things I've mentioned. You read for an hour a day, maybe you watch an hour of news, listen to an hour of podcasts, you look at the stamps in your book or whatever hobby you have for an hour or so. Spend some time with your family and friends. I'm up to 5 hours. I'm up to 5 hours, and if you work for a living like most people do, and you have to eat and take a dump once in a while, I don't understand where people are finding all the time to watch all this television I keep hearing about. I honestly don't get humans at all. I don't get them. And, occasionally I'll catch something. I've told you that I do catch a couple of the late night monologues, either when they're happening or I watch them online. So, it's not like I'm above it. But the very idea of paying for a streaming service, and most people I know, they've got 2 or 3 or 5 or 6 of them. Why in the hell? Why in the hell would you pay good money? And don't you have better things to do? Okay. I don't get the humans. And again, it's not like I'm above it. I love Saturday Night Live. I watch that. It's kind of a sadistic habit I'm in because, they disappoint just as much as they entertain. They can be just pitifully disappointing sometimes. In fact, last Saturday night, I can't think of one thing that worked. It was horrible. It was really bad. They can be very bad. I'm the first to admit it. But when they're good, man. There's a lot of talk about Jim Carrey. Have you seen Jim Carrey as Joe Biden? I think they've got, let's see, if I'm remembering right, they've got 3 episodes under their belt now. And in the first couple of episodes, I noticed, Jim Carrey was playing Joe Biden as this insane, decrepit, 1,000-year-old guy. Now, any actor who takes on a character, especially if it's an impression, you got to kind of find your hook, right? Dana Carvey was brilliant at George H.W. Bush, for example. I thought that was fantastic. One of the best impressions ever on Saturday Night Live. And then who was the guy? Oh, Darrell Hammond. Currently the announcer, if you didn't know. He's the announcer on Saturday Night Live, but he was in the cast, of course, for many years. And he still shows up occasionally when they need a Bill Clinton impression. And he's more of a straight impersonator, whereas others have done more caricatures. Well, Jim Carrey had a decision to make. He and the producers and Lorne Michaels needed to put their heads together, and the writers, and figure, okay, how are we going to play Joe Biden? What's the hook? What do we need here? And it's like they're still searching for it. Because after 3 episodes, like I say, the first 2, he was absolutely manic. He was insane. He was out of his mind. And whether you love Joe Biden or hate Joe Biden, he's not crazy. I don't know how that happened in the decision-making process for Jim Carrey and Lorne Michaels and the rest. Why would you portray Joe Biden as this over-the-top maniac? If you're doing an impression, you got to draw from the real person. And then you exaggerate, and then you make fun, of course. But it made no sense. And I think maybe they got some bad feedback. I know I myself read some reviews where people just weren't having this impression. They were not into Jim Carrey's Joe Biden. And then on this last episode, which I think is number 3, if I'm counting right, he backed off the crazy thing, but he just can't find the hook. Jim Carrey is struggling with this. And if and when Joe Biden becomes president, SNL has a decision to make. Are they going to stick with Jim Carrey? He's got to find something because it's not working at all. See, and the other thing about a recurring character, the character has to be lovable in some way. You have to want to watch him. Even Alec Baldwin's Orange Menace is endearing in a weird kind of way because he's so buffoonish. So even those of us who know that the Orange Menace is the greatest danger ever foisted upon this nation, we can enjoy the character that Baldwin has created. So again, whether you love Joe or you hate Joe, you got to be able to enjoy Jim Carrey's character, or you're going to have a bad time. Anyway, so, okay, Jim Carrey. Come on, Jim. You can do it. You're a genius. You're a mad genius. Come up with something that we can watch. But then again, you think about it, all of his characters over the years have been kind of off-putting, right? That's kind of what he does. I mean, the Grinch, the Fire Guy, going way back to In Living Color, The Mask, Pet Detective. These guys, these characters they're kind of hard to watch. They're definitely off-putting. Oh, Cable Guy. Oh, man, Cable Guy. So now that I think about it, I guess that's what he does. He makes characters that are kind of repulsive. All right, so there's my little media critique for today. So yesterday we spent quite a lot of the show talking about the situation in Philadelphia following the police shooting of Walter Wallace, gunned down by 2 police officers after his family had called for an ambulance. Didn't call for the cops. Ambulance doesn't show up. Cops show up. A couple minutes later, boom, he's dead. Terrible, terrible incident, and another quintessential example of what's wrong with the cops. And we talked about how the whole situation is following the same old playbook. Violence the first couple of nights. Right-wingers don't give a damn about Walter Wallace or his family. They just got to go right to the looting, point to that, blame the liberal mob, feed their fictional narrative about all of that. And could have predicted it. Last night being the 3rd night, what do? Philadelphia officials imposed a citywide after-dark curfew, because that's the next page in the playbook. You have to have a curfew, and then you have a good excuse to arrest people because they're out after dark. And you have a good excuse to toss tear gas and shoot your less than lethal bullets, whatever that means. It's just all so sadly predictable. And then on the other side of the country, reports and video that I've seen looks every bit as bad. Stores looted, multiple arrests, cars turned over, fires, because the Dodgers won the World Series. Have you seen the footage on this? Have you seen the pictures? They went crazy in Los Angeles. I haven't seen the Orange Menace tweet about that, how he's going to send in the National Guard to put down the Dodger fans. They're doing exactly the same thing. They're setting fires. They're looting stores. Yeah, I'm looking at the video right now. These places are just completely trashed. But no, we don't care about that. There are looters and then there are looters. Well, we haven't talked too much about the election this week. I guess there are a couple things we should touch on here. First of all, we do know, right? The mail-in ballot is no more. Do not mail your ballots. I don't care what state you live in. You really oughtn't be mailing your ballots. Now, the U.S. Supreme Court did rule yesterday that Pennsylvania and North Carolina can count votes that are postmarked on or before Election Day up to, is it 6 days afterwards? Something like that. It's the very thing that they rejected just the day before for Wisconsin. And that's a whole nother can of fish there. The Brett Kavanaugh opinion. That's just, he's just being raked over the coals for that hot mess. It was just filled with mistakes and bad reasoning, and this guy's got to be impeached. Anyway, so I don't want to get into specifics because that's the last thing I want to do is mislead you. I just want to tell you that I really recommend you do not use the mail at this point, wherever you live, at this stage of the game. Go to a drop box. If you have an absentee ballot in your possession, you don't necessarily have to use it now. You can still go and vote early in person. Again, I don't want to get specific. Don't take my word as gospel because every state is different. You can spoil the ballot, and in some cases that means you actually have to give it to somebody. You hand it to them, and they put it in a shredder. Or in some cases, you can just rip it up and toss it away in your own kitchen wastebasket. So you don't have to use that absentee ballot. You can still go vote in person. But they may have you in their files that, yes, you received a ballot. Again, this is not advice. Every place is different. I don't want to fall into that trap of this sounding like advice. The only advice is very general. Make sure you vote. Make sure you know how it works in your state. It's too late to use the mail. That's the one thing I'll say. But drop boxes, your local election office, early voting polls, and of course, day of, there's still lots of ways to do it. So do it. And this was good news, though, in North Carolina and Pennsylvania, both swing states at this point, that, they can count votes after Election Day. And we've been hearing this for a long time, and they're getting noisier and noisier every day. We know exactly what's going to happen, so we just have to be ready for it. If it's at all close on election night, the Orange Menace is going to declare victory, and he's going to get all of his minions and henchmen to sing the same song about how now any votes that come in after I've declared victory are fraudulent. The very votes that the Supreme Court just ruled yesterday may be counted. And of course they're not fraudulent. And of course that's what Brett Kavanaugh was trying to sell us yesterday in that ridiculous opinion he wrote, or the day before, using the same language that the Orange Menace uses. Talked about how votes that come in after Election Day could flip the results of the election. He used his term, flip. No, they're not flipping anything. They're ballots. They need to be counted. And there is that possibility. Oh, man, please don't let it come to pass. But there is that possibility. All right? We have to be ready for this. That the Orange Menace could be leading at some point during the day or the night of November 3rd. And it might take a while to count everybody. And this we know for sure. This is not speculation. These are facts. Many more Democrats are voting by mail by a large percentage. A lot more Democratic votes in the mail than Republican votes. And many states, Wisconsin included, are not allowed to start counting until Election Day. There again, there's another difference between a lot of the states. Some of them can start processing the votes early, getting them ready to count. Others, you can't even touch them. You can't even get them ready. You can't even prep them for counting. So it could very well take a while. And since there are more Democratic votes than Republican votes in the mail, they're going to be counted a little bit later. And then there are other experts who say, no, that's not true. As soon as we hit 7 a.m. November 3rd, we can start working those ballots, and they're going to be counted right along with the votes coming in on the day. But the bottom line is, the Orange Menace has been setting the table for months, and now Brett Kavanaugh is right there with him, laying the groundwork for that night. Or if it's at all close, he's going to declare victory and then cry foul. Now, it doesn't have to go that way. We don't know how it's going to go. It could be a just big old freaking landslide. Then we just know. Then it's just over. Nothing can be done. Let's all just cross our fingers for that. By the way, what are we going to do on election night? It's coming up here so quickly. I haven't made any plans. I don't know about you, but I live alone. And I'm going to need to not be alone, I think, on election night, depending on what goes down. And we don't know what's going to go down. Should we set something up? Maybe we should set up some kind of a live stream. Maybe get a Zoom call going. Oh, there's a time limit on the Zoom calls. You can only be together for like 40 minutes or something. I've never tried the Facebook rooms, the Messenger rooms. Have you tried that? Maybe I should look into that and do a test run or two. Yeah, I'm going to look into that. We'll do a test run on the Facebook chat room or whatever they call it. I think you can have anybody can just come on in and you just together. Yeah, I'll do a test run, make sure I know what I'm doing, and I'll let you know in the next couple days here. Maybe that's what we should do, because I don't think I want to be alone. I don't know if you live alone, or even if you don't, would that interest you? Watch my Facebook page. I'll keep you up to date on my progress. And in the next few shows here, we got a few. Let's see. Today's Thursday. We got Friday and Monday. Friday, Monday, Tuesday. Holy hell! It's here, man. It's happening. Yeah, I think we need to get together. I'm still working on my playlist too. So, best case scenario, this thing really happens, and it's like we celebrate, right? We're dancing in the street. So I'm putting together my playlist. So far, I've got Rare Earth. I just want to celebrate. I just want to celebrate. Okay, so there's that. There's Kool and the Gang. Well, there's a party going on right here. A celebration to last throughout the year. There's Celebrate by Three Dog Night. How does that one go? Let's see. Reaching back in my memory. I just want to celebrate. Another way of living. Yeah. I just want to celebrate. Another day of life. I just want to celebrate. Is that right? Is that how that one goes? And also, I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Oh, shoot. My friend Linda had a good suggestion, too. What was that? I forgot. Oh. Lovely Day by Bill Withers. Lovely Day. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good one. So we need a whole playlist, though. We need a whole playlist. We need another 20 songs. We're going to be dancing all night. Possibly. I'm hoping so. But yeah, everybody, all the experts are out there telling us what can go bad, what can go wrong. And it's not like the Orange Menace is even trying to hide it. He's right out front with what he's doing. I read yesterday that there have been over 300 court cases already filed, state and federal court cases, trying to slow down or stop the vote, trying to suppress the vote. They got all their guns out. We're getting such mixed messages. Man, everybody's writing every possible scenario. I've seen some analysts who are just absolutely convinced that it's all over, that Joe Biden is going to win in a landslide, that the Orange Menace is going to be crushed. And then I see other writers saying, hold up here. This is not looking good. This is way too close, especially when you look at particular states. Oh, it's tightening in Florida. Oh, it's tightening in Pennsylvania. Wisconsin, we're still in the margin of error. The candidates themselves, one of the big strategies, I keep hearing from Joe Biden and Kamala Harris telling me how dire the situation is in an effort to get me to send them $5 or $10 or 20 or 100. They're showing polls that just look really bad. We could lose this thing. We could lose. We need your help right now. So I don't know. I don't know what to believe at this point. Well, what's the old thing our dad would say? Hope for the best, plan for the worst. Right? There's some good dad advice right there. I'll leave you with that. I'll leave you with that dad advice. Let's hope for the best and be prepared for the worst. We do have to be ready for the absolute worst imaginable fascist shenanigans. Sharp, violent rhetoric from the Orange Menace and his crime family. Long lines after the polls have closed, but of course, if you're in line before the polls close, they have to take your vote. But there's going to be the so-called army out there causing trouble. The Boogaloos and the Proud Boys hitting the streets. There are so many nightmare scenarios here that we really do have to be ready. Those of us who are just sitting home at our televisions, I'm not sure what we can do except try to spread the word, try to spread the truth about what's happening, about what the law says in your state, about the right of voters, about the right to count ballots. Get on the phone, get on social media, get in the street. We may have to get out in the street. I think maybe one way or another, plan on being in the street that night. We're either going to be dancing to Three Dog Night and Kool and the Gang, or we're going to have to make a huge public showing. And I mean huge, massive public showing that we will not put up with any shenanigans. 100% peaceful, but massive, massive numbers. And I think that's really what I'm leaving you with today. That's the thought I'm leaving with you today. Get yourself ready. Put on your warm socks and your best walking shoes and bundle up, because I really do believe we're going to need to be on the street. I'm not talking metaphors here. I'm talking literally. We're going to need to fill the streets on the night of November 3rd, either to celebrate and dance or to put down the shenanigans. Either way. All right. This is The Log. I'm Charles Purcell. This episode and all episodes are available on Apple Podcasts, anywhere, wherever you get your podcasts. Search Charles Purcell Presents. That's the umbrella term under which all other titles fall. And when you're looking around, do find our big Halloween special. It's available right now, or it will be as soon as I get done talking to you. I'll post it. And your one-stop shop to find everything is charlespurcell.com. All right, there you go. Talk to you tomorrow.